Wow.
Wow.
Inflation. Well, guys, inflation, obviously, we have known that it has been a big problem, especially since the Fed shot out all of that money, which was they had to do because of the pandemic. But inflation has taken control along with the war in Ukraine that's happening. Prices have been skyrocketing. Now, I know what a lot of you guys is thinking. It's like, how is inflation really going to affect me, especially when it comes to the housing market? Well, you've came to the right place. The problem with inflation, especially since it's hit 7.9%, guys. Inflation hasn't been this high since 1982. Why is inflation crushing the housing market? And my prediction is inflation's gonna probably get to 10%. Now, is 10% crucial? Guys, it really is, especially when it comes to the housing market. So let's jump into this article really quickly. It says inflation rises 7.9%, hitting a 40-year high for food, rent, and gas prices. What's next? The prices for goods and services have reached another 40-year high as the war on Ukraine further stoked inflation in the U.S. Inflation surged again in February, increasing by 7.9% over the past 12 months to reach its highest level since January 1982. Now, we do know, I don't know if you guys have seen, in California, gas prices have reached $7. $7, guys. That is insane. Now, here is the biggest problem when it comes to inflation, especially when it comes to petroleum with the war in Ukraine, and that we have banned Russia oil, which is a global issue, is that there are a lot of homes that use petroleum to make things that are in your home, right? There are a lot of plastics, things that are used in your home to build your home. So if all of those things are more expensive to make, what do you think is going to happen to home prices? Home prices will go up higher because the items to make and build a home will continue to rise with it. Now, inflation doesn't help that either, right? So not only do we have a supply and demand issue, we also have a labor shortage. We also have what we just talked about, which is inflation. So you have all of these things. And when you combine all of these things into one, it makes homes not affordable, right? It makes individuals wanting to pay over. And once again, we say this all the time, do not overpay. I'm going to continue to say that and continue to preach it, that you should not overpay, because overpaying on a home that possibly is going to crash is too much of a risk. Do not overpay for a home, and please do not go into a bidding war only to not look at the property, not get an inspection, and to give up all of your rights as a homeowner just to win a bid. What does raising inflation mean for a consumer? That's you. It says, simply put, your dollar has less purchasing power, making everything you buy more expensive. Even though you're likely not to get paid more, in fact, more Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and wages are not keeping up with inflation rates. Now, that is true. So what do you think will happen to your home? What do you think will happen to your purchasing ability for homes? It's not going to work. So what does the Fed need to do, guys, to correct this inflation? Well, you're not going to like it. They're going to raise rates. And when they raise rates, guys, what does that mean for you? That means that your mortgage payments and your debt will cost more, which also means that you will be able to afford less house. So those $400,000 to $500,000 homes, you could afford them at 3%, but you can't afford them at 4 and 5%. That's basically what that means. And trust me, you will go through the underwriting process and you will find out very fast that your debt to income ratio, because of the interest rate that has went up, you can't afford it. And underwriters will tell you, sorry, sir, sorry, ma'am, you can't afford this house because interest rates have risen. And also, this is going to be explained in the article. Let me just go ahead and add in here. It says, But how does raising rates help reduce inflation? When interest rates are raised, the cost of borrowing increases, as I just said, which leads to decrease in consumer demand in the economy. This helps balance out the supply and demand scale. So basically, what that is saying is, I'm just going to add on to it, is that all of a sudden, once the rates have risen, the competition for individuals wanting to buy a house will diminish. Trust me, individuals who can't afford a certain amount of a home, that demand will decrease, which then, if you are in that room where you can afford a home, you will have less competition, which will then allow you to get into properties. But here's the one thing that you guys are missing. I know nobody likes to get rates increased, but rates increased, which brings down inflation, will bring down values also. So you're paying more for the debt, but the value of the home based on economics should come down. So values would come down when rates are increased. So a lot of you should be cheering the Fed on, like, yeah, raise rates, raise rates. We don't want to get too crazy, right? We don't want to get too crazy, but we want rates increased because then values of homes would come down. Now, it's not great for sellers. So sellers should be, if you want to sell your home now, you should be trying to sell your home now before rate increases start, because then values will start to drop. Also, demand will start to drop. So it's not in your favor anymore. It will then be in the favor of the buyers. And I know a lot of you guys up there are looking to buy. Now, when rates start to increase and they start to, how many increases are we looking at now? They're talking about 5 to 6. At one point it was 9. But as soon as they start increasing, then you'll start seeing it. I would wait personally until they got to the 3rd, 4th increase, so you can kind of see exactly what happens. You don't want to be the person to jump on the sword on the first increase thinking that prices will go down when you jumped on it too fast and prices didn't go down. And also too, on inflation, guys, we want this inflation to get taken care of because it takes away from things that you have to do. We talk about things like gas at the pump, $7 a gallon. You have to commute to work. You have to go to work. That's how you make money. That's how you make a living. So you have to do it. It's a necessity as far as driving to get to work, commuting to work. And then we have on the other side, we have food. Food, you have to eat, right? You have to feed your family. So if one apple costs $3 and before 3 apples cost $3, you still have to pay to get that one apple for $3, no matter if it was an increase or not. But we want to get that down because then it allows you to have that extra room for excess money. So it's a balancing beam here, guys. You either want to have low debt on a house that you can't find that's overpriced, or do you want to pay higher on the debt, less value, but then also knock down the inflation? I'm going to take that one. I'm going to take that one, guys. I'm going to go with that one. And I think you guys want that one too. So you need to really look at the Fed and pay attention to the Fed to make sure that they start to increase it. Because if they don't, guys, we're going to see 10% inflation. And we don't want that. I don't want that. You don't want that. It's going to cost you more money to commute and eat. That's a lot of Americans do that. We're eating and we're driving and, traveling and, all of those things. And you've seen it. Ground beef, chicken, especially meats have went through the roof when it comes to cost. And this also means for individuals who want to refinance their mortgage, you may want to start looking at refinancing now. You want to refinance now because once increases happen when it comes to the interest rates, you will have to pay more for that refinance. So make sure you're looking at all of your options here, guys, all of your options to determine what's best for you. But here's a secret. We're going to go into a recession anyway. There's going to be a downturn anyway. I can feel it. I see it. The signs are there. And if you watch my other videos, you know it's there also. So once again, I hope you got value out of this content. I'm going to need you to watch this video here. It will give you the up-to-date information on the housing market, what you need to do in this housing market, how to get into your first rental property. Also, check in the description. We have our membership program. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.